Hey there, Dale.
Hey, how you doing?
I can't complain. Had a lovely 4th of July. How was yours?
It was very calm, very quiet, and that's how I like it. It
Yeah,
was it was a good time, and of course, celebrating the birth of this wonderful nation. And we hope you all had a great 4th of July.
right. And obviously, we're not ignorant to the fact that it wasn't the greatest 4th of July for very, very many people. So our hearts go out to those in
Yes,
Texas. Just
very much so.
tragic beyond tragic. And because there's no good way to go beyond that, past that, we're just going to go straight into the market update and talk about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. We'll say that just a couple more times, but we have abbreviated it to save your eardrums from the scratching chalk of that bill. But
Right.
there have been some good things, Dale, that came out of it for the mortgage market.
Of
One of
course.
them, the higher debt ceiling, that took a lot of pressure off of the market because a lot of people were worried. Are we going to have a government shutdown and the whole thing that happens, every year now? Mortgage insurance deduction became permanent. This was a temporary thing set to expire, I believe, next year. But now it is in law. It is permanent. So anyone with mortgage insurance can deduct that off of their taxes. And then, of course, SALT state and local taxes limit was raised to $40,000. It is temporary until 2029, which is huge for places with higher market values like all of us in California. And then the mortgage interest deductibility was capped at $750. It was raised up to $750. And this is huge because as the average price of homes go up and people are starting to spend more money, they can deduct more interest. So this is saving a lot of people money and helping out the American middle class. So, Dale, what was your perception of how the bond market reacted to OBBBA?
Mediocre at best. Um, that's about the only way I can say that. I've said the big beautiful bill. I am big, I am beautiful, but I am not Bill. Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
love it. I love it. Let's talk about another guy who's not named Bill,
there
Scott
you go.
Bessent. We got to talk a little bit about where we're going. Obviously, we're waiting for rates to drop. It just feels like there's a dam holding everything back. Who's going to open the floodgates? It doesn't seem like it's Jerome Powell. Dale, I'll let you take the stage because I know he's like top 3 of your favorite people on earth, right?
Well, top 3 if we're talking who I like the least. Um, Jerome Powell is not an economist, which is odd to be the Fed chair, right? He is not an economist, he is an attorney. Now,
Oh,
he hasn't been horrible, but he certainly has not been proactive, certainly has not made decisions in a timely fashion, and I I think, I'm sure he's a wonderful human being. So please don't misunderstand that message. But being the Fed chair, he was appointed by Biden, just not not for him. This gentleman, Mr. Bessent, I've listened to him, various interviews he's given, various congressional hearings. He's very intelligent. He is an economist. He is, quite frankly, I think, a breath of fresh air, and I have some real hope that he will take care of things.
right. Now, of course, it's not for certain that he's going to replace Jerome Powell, but
True,
in
true.
May 2026, that's when we will get a new Fed chair, unless somehow Jerome Powell and Trump kiss and make up, which is not really expected because Trump has pressured Powell to make rate cuts multiple times in the past year, going so far to threaten him with being fired. Then he backtracked it, and now he's back to the point where he's saying cut the rates significantly or be fired. So we do get the sense that there is a new Fed chair coming, and Scott Bessent is probably the most obvious person to go in it because he's talked about tariffs increasing income about 3 to 4 billion. Now that we have China and India and even Vietnam penciling out hard trade deals with the United States, we're starting to see some stability and predictability for these tariffs. And then the thing that blows me away is oil and energy production. This has driven oil and the cost of energy down a little bit in the United States. We're going to start to see more of this, but keep in mind, oil prices have come down in the midst of global war with
Yeah.
Ukraine and Russia and in the Middle East. This is quite impressive for the fact that we're seeing lower oil prices even when the Middle East is at war.
Yeah, it's. I think overall things are going well.
Right. So I do hope and expect that we are going to see rate cuts definitely in 2026. Hopefully, they push into 2025 if Jerome Powell wises up a little bit and heeds Trump's desires to cut rates. But that being said, where does that put us on current interest rates, Dale?
You know, we have seen a little bit of a drop. Things are starting to trend downward, but of course, we've said that before. But if you look at historically, not over years and years, but just the last 6 7 months, we've pretty much maintained. We've been in the mid to high sixes, even touched seven a little bit, but rates, they are stable. But if we look at the next slide that you have, we'll see that we're actually in a pretty good place right now.
Right. So keep in mind, this chart that we're seeing right now to the beginning of April is the beginning of tariffs. We are in the best environment we've had since tariffs were implemented. And this is a really big deal because the biggest fear was uncertainty with tariffs. How is it going to affect the market? Are we going to see insane inflation? With a few months of tariffs being implemented, which, keep in mind, the highest tariffs we would have ever seen, we're actually seeing a better mortgage-backed securities market, which is great to see. And if we zoom out a little bit further to the beginning of 2025, you'll notice that we are probably in second place right now for the best rate environment of 2025. Hopefully, we can move into the best rate environment of 2025. So there is a lot of hope on the horizon. There is a lot of pieces ready at play to move into a better economy, a better mortgage market. But granted, this is all going to come into play when we actually see the OBBBA come into effect, when tariffs get penciled out, when a new Fed chair gets installed. Those are the things that are going to be put into play to make the big changes.
Hopefully, in a baseball vernacular, we're rounding second base. That's the hope. So,
Better that you said that than everything I did. All right. Well, thank you, Dale. I appreciate it as
all
always.
right. Thank you. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right. Bye now.